Hey guys, it's Rich from Easy Solution. Welcome to our webinar on Google+. Today, Carly Schweitzer, our social media specialist, is going to take you on a tour of Google+. And just a note up front that this is a webinar on Google+. What is it and why you should care? It's not a how to do it webinar. At the end, we'll give you some options to learn more about how this really works. So are words like circles, hangouts, events, streams, +1 all new to you? Well, they're all the language of Google+, and Carly's going to help you understand some of those words. She's going to look at some of the features of Google+, who is rapidly becoming a major player in the social media world, and explain why that's happening and why it's a good, essential part of any social media plan. Just one housekeeping note, I'm going to be monitoring questions and ask that you use the question screen to address the question. I'll make sure that Carly answers it and get your answer back to you. If we get too many piled up, I may just compile them into a Word doc and send an email to you. So Carly, are you all ready to go?
I'm all set, Rich. Let's get started.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. I'm really excited to be talking to you today about this specific social platform. And I really think we have some interesting and unique features to point out about it that really might pique your interest and make you want to sign on and start a page. So to have a little better idea the way that, what we're going to go over in general terms, I wanted to show you the topics real quick here. The first thing that we're going to talk about is meeting Google+ in general, taking a look around and seeing some of the main components to it. Then we're going to look at the features that are setting this apart from other social media platforms. Then we're going to discuss a little bit about why you might need it or want it and how it helps you as a business. And finally, we're going to have gone through all this info and we're going to say, okay, what's next? How do we move forward and what can you do? So I want to start off by asking all of you two simple questions, and I think they're really important to consider as you're going through this and paying attention to these different features and Google+. So first of all, are you trying to increase your sales? Yes, it's a simple question, and I'm sure all of us could agree that the answer is yes. But often we're forgetting on a day-to-day basis about what we can do to do that and hit those goals and increase those sales. Second question for you guys is, do you want more traffic from Google? So maybe you haven't given a lot of thought to the traffic coming to your website from Google searches, but hopefully this webinar is going to reignite your interest in the search engine optimization for your website. And I mean, after all, isn't that what we all want, is to get more traffic to our website? Often we sit in meetings and we get to connect with you guys one-on-one, and these two concerns are probably the most major and important ones, especially when it comes to marketing efforts. So hopefully we can provide a solution with Google+ to help you with that. There's three distinct advantages that sites like Google+ in particular in social media are going to offer your business. Your business being present the exact moment it's needed. And that has to do with consistent online posting, which puts you in front of customers far more frequently. And that's really where people are spending more and more of their time, is online and on social media. Even if they aren't buying from you necessarily the first time that they either see you or connect with you, it's the constant presence and keeping your business top of mind in their head that is going to trigger them to buy from you when that moment actually arises. Recommendations and seeing those people that you know deciding what they like and they buy online is a huge factor in making personal purchasing decisions. I know that I'm regularly deciding which restaurants or which businesses that I want to connect with based on friends or family or colleagues that I see online or actively engage with them and support them and have actually bought from them. So that means a lot. It's simple, but it's priceless, the word of mouth. huge reach. You've probably heard of viral videos, you know, the cat videos or the babies, and they're funny or they're crazy clips. And those are shared so much and viewed by so many people that they become viral. And your business postings have the potential to be viral too. So maybe not in the millions or the billions, but the potential to reach thousands more people than you already are is pretty huge, because they're sharing your information and reposting that and advertising your business, in a sense, to more and more people. So Google put together a little video here I want to play for you, and it's interesting. It's going to give you a real quick overview of Google Plus in general, and it's going to feature two different businesses that both happen to be in the chocolate world. So sit back and watch this, and I'll talk to you right after.
My name is Jerry Dakin. I'm the social media manager at Cadbury. There aren't many grown men who get to spend their entire day thinking about chocolate like I do.
I'm Cameron Ring, co-founder of Dandelion Chocolate, a small batch chocolate factory in San Francisco.
Google Plus pages are allowing us as a massive global brand to connect with chocolate lovers and Cadbury fans. It's also helping us improve our search, and it's helping us drive new consumers to our products. By engaging with that kind of core group, we've grown and grown, and now we find millions of people coming to our page and seeing our content.
People understand that we exist, what we're all about, and where to find us. Once we've got customers in the door, it's really just about having them try the chocolate. The Google Plus pages, we're able to reach the people in our community to let them know what events are going on and whether they want to come check it out. Getting feedback and getting people in the door, those are both things that Google Plus helps us do, and it's fantastic.
The first time we ever did a hangout with some of our consumers, and just the excitement they had of being able to talk personally with a giant global brand, it really brought it home how powerful a tool it was. You couldn't have done that on any other platform.
Okay, so I think the big point that Google Plus is trying to get out there with the video is that it doesn't matter how big or how small you are as a company. On social media platforms, you are going to have as much of an opportunity to be seen by millions of people as any size. It doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. It kind of evens the playing field when it comes to promoting or marketing yourself. So they went over some of the features, and I'm going to touch on those a little bit later as we go through this too. So let's take a look around. I've picked some of the key components on Google Plus that I want to go over, and they're somewhat different from other social sites, so it's important to get a better idea of how they're kind of similar, maybe what their purpose is, and how that works on there. So we're going to start by looking at your home page, and then we're going to move on to circles. We're going to check out the events and discuss a little more about the Hangouts possibilities there. So I'm going to switch over to my web browser and have you guys take a look at our page. Okay. So after you log into your Google+, you're going to see this home screen, and you will have logged in through the personal account that you might have or set up and selected the business page and then home. So the flow of information that you're seeing right here just below the header area is known as your stream. And that's a recognizable layout from using Facebook. You might be familiar with it, and it's a two-column stream of information. And within this stream, you're going to have card-like boxes here showing updates from people and pages or companies that you're following. And what this means, the reason these are showing up for you is because you've opted in. You've decided to follow these different entities, and you care about what they have to say, and that's why they're there. So you're getting customized information for you. So you'll notice on all of these posts, they're going to be +1s and or +50 in the case of this post right here, this really funny cat one. And when I hover on that, it says +1 this post. So that's giving us the option to like it, similar to a Facebook, posting. That's how you would show support for it. And if I click here, it's going to turn red, and that number goes up as well, indicating that we just did that. So that's the signature for Google Plus. Obviously, is going to be your plus ones. It's the way of, tallying or being able to see what support or how popular something is. Now up here, there are multiple options. It's kind of hidden a little bit. So when I go over and hover on this, it gives me the option to click. And when I click on it, I'm going to see all different types of things that I can do with this post. So I can see the post activity. When I click on that, it flips around kind of neatly, and it shows all the different people that have plus one and or commented on it. And up here, when you see this arrow and this 14, that's the number of reshares of this post. When you see the commentary box with the 10, that's how many people that have commented on it. So it gives you an idea of what's going on, especially if it's your post in particular and you want to see, obviously, how well it's doing. So I'm going to flip this around, and you're going to have links to posts. So you could create your own post or update and put this content in there and share it with your circles. You have embed post where you could put this into your website, maybe a blog even. Mute post would completely make it disappear, this particular posting, and you would never see it again. Remove from circles is going to completely disconnect or remove this business from your circle, so you would never receive anything in your stream from them at all in the future. Reporting spam or abuse, that's pretty rare that you would ever need to use it, but in some rare instance that it was very offensive and disturbing to you, you could eliminate it, which is nice. And then right here, this view ripples is a really cool feature that I think is definitely worth going over. So when I click on this, it's going to open up another page and another tab here. And it's visually going to kind of lay out how this post moves around in the Google Plus world. And that's really nice, because I've never seen yet another website or social media platform that's literally going to spell it out for you and diagram it. So when you hover on this, you're seeing more of the details on all these people and exactly where it's going. And some of these get very elaborate. They're going to have thousands of, circles on them. And this over here is going to let you kind of get a better idea what's going on when they're more complicated. So you can scroll in and out kind of like a Google map. But that's really nice, because it's going to be easier for you to understand this concept of social sharing when you can see it. And right here, they've done that. So I'm going to click out of there and go back over here. When I click on our profile page, that page is extremely important, because it is essentially the first thing that people see when they look for you or they find you. Now, you're obviously going to have your profile pic, a pretty standard thing on the left here. And it's round, of course, because it's Google Plus, and they use circles, so it's kind of a theme going on. You can have our website. There could be more information there depending. And then there's the plus 97 as far as followers. That's giving you, the number, the count on there it keeps. On the right, you will have a cover photo or, cover design, whatever you decide to upload in this. And we just actually changed ours recently and made it a lot more personable. I think it's way more friendly, and it's really nice to see all of our employees, and it's really colorful, so it's fun. And that's something that we would design for you guys too, so we can really get a feel for what you want it to look like or kind of go along with your website and make sure that's really custom for you. Now you have your tabs here, your different pages. There's nothing really that spectacular about them. They're kind of what a lot of social media platforms would use. But down below that is your personal stream. It's kind of the catalog or library where everything that you have been putting up is going to be located for you to see in one view. And you'll see these videos and all these things, and you can kind of look back and say, oh, what did we post 2 weeks ago? How was it doing? How's it rippling? What's going on with it. So the next thing that is a real standout for Google Plus is their circles. And if you are going down to your drop-down main menu over here and you see this people and the little circles, you would click on it and it would bring up all of your contacts and everyone you're following. So it's laid out kind of like a business cards, you know, really nice, graphically well done. It's great pictures there and pretty easy to understand. The circles down here is very different, and it's what really sets Google Plus apart, because not a lot of times when you're using other social media that you're going to have this organization level. And don't worry, it's definitely simpler than it looks. It's really not that complicated. When you start following somebody, you are going to have the option to, you know, organize them into whatever circle that you think makes sense. So if I would look up, let's see, let me think of a company here. Here we go. Here's Advanced Auto Parts. So if I click on there, it's loading their page, and it has the follow option, how many have already been following them. And then when I hover back over the following option, this is where the organization option comes into play with the circles. So I can click following, or I could pick a different one, or I could create a completely new circle right from here, which is really convenient. It would pop up, we would create that, and then start a whole new circle or group of people. All right, so let's go back here to our profile page. Actually, I'm going to switch back to the slides here because I want to elaborate more on the circles and their importance and some things about them. Let's see. It's kind of backed me up a little bit. Hold on a second. Okay. So the two advantages, the two big points on the circles, again, is that they're separating types of customers. On a personal page, they're going to separate different types of contacts you have, but I really don't think it's as beneficial on a personal page necessarily as it really is for a business page. It really stands out, and it means that you're going to have the option and abilities to market to those segments. For example, you could post information on health insurance to your health insurance clients if you have that circle set up. Another example is sending out different promotions. So you might have new customers that you're trying to get new customers. You're going to send them one type of promotion. Existing customers or loyalty, you know, you want to do a different type of promotion. So that would allow you to do that. Extended circles. So circles go one step beyond to extended circles. And these are like your circles. They're the vehicles that are expanding the reach, basically, of your messages and your information for your products or whatever you're putting out there. And it's showing it on this picture how it just kind of ripples through, just like the ripple, you know, page that I showed you for each particular post where you could see that in action. So say you've set up the page, you've made a lot of connections, and you've got them all organized into these circles. What are some things that you can do with all this stuff, and what other options do we have? Well, we have something called events. And if you're familiar maybe with using Evite or different types of formats or websites for events, it's going to be really simple. It's similar, and it's user-friendly, pretty intuitive. What makes it great, too, is that it's incorporated right into Google+. It's not as if you have to log into a completely different website to get a lot accomplished within Google+. So customization. You're going to have endless possibilities, different pictures that are loaded in here, different colors, different themes. I wouldn't be surprised if they expanded on that. And you have whatever option, you know, whatever way you want to use this is up to you. You could do a webinar, you could do a fundraising event in here, and all kinds of things in between. What makes Google Events really cool, though, is that they've thoughtfully put this together by integrating the Google Calendar. So users are going to be able to view and actually respond to events on their personal Google Calendar, which is really nice and super convenient. There's also a real-time event photo stream, and it's called Party Mode, and it's for the attendees that have signed on to an event. So what they do is when they take pictures, they can contribute directly to a shared photo gallery or collection. And when you get your reminder that pops up that says, hey, you know, you're going to attend this event, don't forget, and you log into it, it's going to give you the Party Mode option to be turned on or off. And turning it on allows this live stream of photos to show up in this gallery. So it's a great way to keep photos in a centralized location for later use because, you know, you might have some type of fundraising event and you want to gather those pictures up for use in other types of things or literature, and you've got to go reach out to people and say, hey, can you email me? You know, but with this, you don't have to. It's really convenient and it's all right there. A direct tie-in to the events feature on Google Plus is Hangouts. Hangouts is basically another way to hold an event. So it's an event that's online, or you could say virtual. More specifically, it's an online, real-time conversation meeting tool. So you could use it to talk to colleagues. You could set up an appointment to talk to customers or even friends. And if video is being used, you have the option to invite up to 10 people right now, the way that it's set up. It's kind of like chatting 2.0, you know, it's really given it a boost. What Google Plus did to make it a little better was that they added photo sharing capability and mobile access. This picture here is going to give you an idea of what it looks like on your cell phone or tablet. So it's going to look almost identical pretty much to what you would see on your desktop. And it's available on your Android or Apple, so it's pretty universal and everyone can get on board with it. So whether you're sitting at the computer, or you have to be on the road, or you're out for lunch, whatever the case may be, you don't have to be left out of that meeting or that conversation. So at this point, we covered the most important features, the standout things about Google Plus, and I would think, most of you probably learned something new, at least a few things, I'd say. I know when I did the research, I had initially thought I knew everything, and believe me, there's so much and so many details and things they build into this. So, but as a business owner, you're thinking, okay, these are some great features, well, what else is there? Should I bother getting on board with this? I say definitely, because, and I want to show you some things and highlight things and how they tie into what we already covered, but first and foremost, they have 359 million users, and they're active monthly users, and it's rising. So that means, the way I look at it, it means potential customers. It means potential business partners, all types of things, and contacts. Google Plus is giving you access to influencers or decision makers who might not notice you or be on other social media platforms. So there may be people over on Facebook, but they're not on Google Plus, or vice versa. And if you're only on one of them, you're not really getting your business name out to all the people that you really could. So it makes more sense to me when I consult with people that, hey, this is the #1 and #2 social media sites. You really should seriously consider it and be on both and get the most. Community interaction, and that's what social media really is all about when it comes down to it, having that interaction with your community. It's really important for any business that wants to showcase more of a personality or culture to the public. And I mean, after all, people buy from other people, and they feel a connection to people when they make those decisions. Targeted messaging, and this goes back to how the circles work. It's just always best to be sending relevant info to the right audience. It makes the most sense, and it saves them time not reading things that are irrelevant to them. Get search traffic. Okay, if having more reach and real estate online is important to you, then Google Plus should definitely be a priority. This reason is so important that I definitely think I need to explain a little more detail on it and how it works, because if the only reason that you would start a page on Google Plus was simply for SEO, it's reason enough, definitely. Google Plus pages are holding the same weight now as a full website, which is huge. So in Google search algorithms, of course, because it's Google and they're connected, it's going to view those more optimally, and they're going to weigh more and show up more frequently. No other social site pages rank quite this way at this time. Research shows, too, that +1 beat out other metrics such as Facebook shares and even keyword usage. So they're more likely to show up in search results as well, giving it an edge. Google indexes Google Plus content far quicker than any other social site. And this means it's seen almost immediately in Google searches. So you're putting a post up there, you could go back, do a search, and it's very likely that if you're using words or similarities there, it's going to show up right afterward. So when you're doing a Google Plus page, you need to think about the whole picture. And when you have a website, which I would assume most businesses do at this point, you want to incorporate these and add your +1 buttons to your website, because it's going to increase your chances of being seen. It's going to increase your overall presence online, and it's going to be shared far. The likelihood of it being shared online is greater. So when people are on that site and they see this +1 button, it takes half a second to click on it, and it automatically, with them being logged in, is going to go right to their Google Plus page. And then all their circles and no circles are going to be able to see that or have access to it potentially. So what's next? I mean, as you can tell, Google Plus was built to socially promote and connect businesses and people. It goes hand in hand with Google searching. I mean, now that you know about this social media tool, how do you move forward? Well, you have two options. The first being to do absolutely nothing with the information, or just simply hold off, I guess, on making that decision. Your second option is to start your Google Plus business page and begin building a community of followers and customers. So assuming that you would pick the second option, okay, how do you set up your page? Well, I'm sure some of you are going to take the do-it-yourself route, and that's fine. But I know, too, that there's going to be a lot of you that you just don't have the time, or you would prefer the convenience of us doing it for you and not having to worry about the technology or fitting it into your schedule. So either route works, but for those who are undecided, I want to go over our Google Plus pricing with you. So the Google Plus page setup, business page setup, is $750, and that's a one-time fee. From there, you would be able to pick whether you wanted us to post every other day for you, or if you wanted it to be every day. So the every other day option is going to be $400 a month, and the everyday option is $650. However, if you already are a Facebook client of ours, the setup is the same, but the every other day posting goes down to $250 a month, and the everyday posting option is $350. So when you sign on for us to work with you and implement this for you, we really try to make sure that the process is seriously easy as 1, 2, 3. In this case, I have 4 steps. So I want to break down how we start moving along on the Google Plus page as soon as you sign on. First, we're going to evaluate your current marketing message, and we're going to listen to who you want to attract. What areas do you want to grow your business? Are you looking at a second business possibly? What are the goals for you in promoting and marketing yourself? And next, we're going to design and set up these business pages. So we would have our designers, after we consult with you and get an idea of your vision and how that's going to incorporate possibly with the website, we're going to design it and set it up and get it started. At that point, we are going to help you get the word out. So it's not going to matter if we, don't get this out to everybody. So if you have existing social media contacts, we are going to invite them to join your Google Plus page. Then based on your level of involvement, we will take charge of making sure that the message is continuously promoted to your networks every day or every other day, whichever you would choose. And that's going to assure that we continue to build upon your network and we're nurturing those relationships with everyone on there. So I really hope that after hearing this information and kind of getting more of an insight behind the scenes on Google Plus that you're enthusiastic about it, because, I mean, Facebook is fantastic and we work with people on that all the time. I do think that Google Plus is also just as relevant and definitely is important. So I just wanted to say thanks to all of you, and I really hope that you have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to talking to you as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Carly. You provided us with a huge amount of information on Google+, and maybe the question is still wandering around in your head, why should I care about Google+? There's a good answer for that. It's Google, and it's part of the Google universe. It affects SEO, and now is the time for early adopters to start building that history with people and Google before the competition does. So thanks, Carly. That was a lot of information. Carly wants to talk to you about Google+, and your total social media program. So we're going to be contacting you, but go to the question box right now. Put in your name and phone number, and we'll give you a call right away and set up a time so you can talk to Carly about your social media program. She can do that in person or over the phone. So go there now and leave your number. And Carly, what's this I hear about a special offer for Google?
Oh, yes. Actually, we are going to have something I don't think we've done before. We're going to discount for people who have attended this exact webinar $200 off of your setup fee, and that would last till next Friday if you get in touch and we start getting you moving on that. So I just want to throw that out there for everybody in case you're kind of looked at it maybe before, weren't sure exactly when you wanted to you know, hit go on it. So that is definitely an incentive for you to save a little money.
Okay, and we did have one question come in here from Jeannie. What do you post on Google Plus versus Facebook?
What would you post versus Facebook? Well, you're going to post similar things. I think that in general you don't want to spend too much of your time. We don't want to sound too salesy. We're not going to try and push too many promotions or too many overly zealous sales things on people, because when they're looking at the information on their stream and they're seeing you so much, that's the last thing you want to do, because it's going to get irritating. So we would put different things that are industry related to your business, maybe information that people could use as far as tips or things that correlate and are on that line. And it makes you look more like you care about people. It gives people that feeling that you are looking out for them and that you are knowledgeable. So you're more of the expert in your arena there, in your industry.
Okay, and
hopefully that answers that for you.
Okay, another question came in. Will these slides be available? Yes, they will be available. This entire webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website in about 2 days, and I'll send everybody a link with that. And Dave Greek had a question about SEO, which I'm going to give to you, Carly, through email, and you can give him an answer for that. It's a little bit more complicated than we can get into here.
Oh, sure, most definitely. I'll do the research and get on that.
Okay. Nicole asked, do we need separate Google pages for each business location?
No, I wouldn't say that you necessarily needed one for each. It depends really what the business is. I know when it comes to medical offices and maybe like a dentist who has like 6 different offices, it may not be necessary. I know we can design, and I think I've seen designs of cover pages that right as soon as you hit that Google Plus page for them, it's going to very quickly show you all of the addresses and branches at the top there with the contact information. So it's really up to you, unless you have a very different vibe or different things going on that seem different enough to warrant doing more than one page.
Okay. Well, that seems to be the end of the questions. So again, Carly, thank you for a great informational presentation about what Google Plus is and why we should care about it. And thanks to all of you for attending. And I'm going to end the webinar now, so thank you, and look for an email from us shortly. Goodbye.